looks like YouTube is working on it.
Yay.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and go live.
YouTube's working, I think.
Okay, yeah, hello.
It's a little jumpy.
Yeah. All right, there we go.
Hello.
Okay, I
Hey,
see
everybody.
we have Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube right here. We're doing YouTube now, guys. We're on MakeTheMFriends.org.
This is way outside
I
our
wish you
comfort
could see
zone.
what we're looking at. This is a monstrosity. I will try and take a picture of it.
It's like when you preach though and you make eye contact with like
Oh, that's true.
different people, except there's no people there.
Yeah.
So I think I see, let's see, I think that is
Wine Sister and Stephanie.
Mike Resnick.
Mike
Hey.
Resnick. Okay.
So we're going to be making unleavened bread. We have never done this
We
before.
decided not to practice to keep it real. Because this is the way that we roll.
So welcome to our kitchen, which has been also featured on every sermon.
I know.
For the past 4 weeks.
So fun.
We're going to be making unleavened bread, so you will need to preheat your oven.
Preheat the oven to 450.
450.
And you can also, we're going to do this, show this. We have a skillet on the stove here, and it's up at medium high. So preheat that.
But what do we do before we ever cook anything? We wash our hands.
Wash our hands.
All right.
Let's take turns.
Okay, I'll go.
All right. Megan's washing her hands. She's humming the doxology. Joe just joined. Megan's washing her hands, Joe. Yep. If you just joined us, you need flour, water, yeast. No yeast. Flour,
Unleavened
flour,
bread.
water, oil, and pinch of salt.
Right.
All right,
I just
now
washed
listen,
my
go ahead.
hands with the
Okay.
doxology.
I'm going to be extra holy and really sing it.
Dave's
Praise
gonna-
God from whom all blessings flow. Praise Him, all creatures here below. Praise Him above ye heavenly hosts. You got your thumbs. Praise Father, Son, and then the wrist, and Holy Ghost. Amen.
Alright.
Okay.
Dave Collins' hands are clean.
They are.
My hands are clean. We both sang the doxology. I hummed it.
The skillet is hot. Look at that. Hear that?
It is
Okay.
hot. I do hear that. Okay, we have the recipe over here. It's on our fridge right next to
We'd
our...
show it to you, but it'd be backwards.
And it's right next to our piece of paper that tells us what day of the week it is.
Yes, today is Thursday. The weather outside is cloudy, and the goal today is not going crazy.
Yep. So we have our recipe right here. We'll post
I got
it
this
later
from
too.
HebrewLiving.com. HebrewLiving.com
This
because we're
is
making...
legitimate.
Yes.
This is legitimate. Okay.
All right,
so
so what's
first thing, it says preheat the oven to 450 degrees.
Okay.
We
done.
did that. Done. Okay. Line a baking sheet with parchment paper.
We've not done that yet.
Okay, I'll go get it.
Okay.
You entertain them.
Okay, so what you need, we did a small amount. We're doing 1 cup of flour because we might not all have a lot of flour, and you don't need a lot because this stuff doesn't taste great. You just need like 2.5 tablespoons to 3 tablespoons of water and the same amount of oil. So 2 to 3 tablespoons of oil, 2 to 3 tablespoons of water.
I'm trying to cut it. Ha-ha!
Well done, well done.
Okay.
And then a pinch of salt. And so we're using, thank you.
We're not going to use this one though.
Yeah, that would be gross. So we're using
Okay.
all-purpose flour, but this would not be historically accurate, would it?
What would be...
This is bleached flour. Oh, I'm going to get mortar and pestle. So
Again, didn't practice this at all.
there we go.
Okay, he's getting our mortar and
I'm
pestle
getting some quinoa.
and some quinoa because he's going to try and add a grain to our
So
flour.
the crazy thing, the
to increase...
cool thing
Now don't
about,
use too much of the quinoa because we need to be able to eat around here.
I'm just going to do a little bit. We'll sprinkle it into our flour.
Okay,
So
so
when we
tell me why you're adding quinoa.
Well, I'm demonstrating that mortar and pestle. See, when we say like unleavened bread, that doesn't mean that like you don't put yeast in it. That means that you put the liquid in the in the flour really quickly, and you cook it quickly because there's no yeast. You know, yeast is a modern invention, like the little packs of active dry yeast or the instant yeast.
And we're going to talk more about unleavened bread on Monday, Thursday, while our bread is cooking in the skillet.
Right.
So then we have something to talk about.
But
that happens.
Okay. So just to demonstrate, if
Yeah.
we were doing a historical accurate, you'd have, instead of quinoa, you'd have wheat berries. And
you would not have Kirkland brand quinoa.
no, and then you grind it up.
Okay. How's that going?
It's going good. See, I got a little flour in there.
Show them. Don't show me.
I got a little flour. It's crushing. It's taken a while. I'm so grateful that we don't have to do this, because this is...
That looks like a lot of work.
That's not working at all. Anyway, you get the idea?
Excellent.
Now there's quinoa all over the counter. Hold on. Let me fix this. Okay. So what's... Alright, so first step is we mix the flour, oil, and salt together in a bowl.
Okay.
And then we're going to add water and knead a few minutes.
So we need 1 cup of flour.
Okay, so here's a cup.
Hey, you did the quinoa. I'm going to shake it off so it's nice and level.
Okay, very, very good.
Because we're professionals.
And now she's going to put it into our bowl. This is our punch bowl that we got at our wedding.
And we can't have any parties, so...
I don't know that we've ever used it for punch. We used it to like put fruit in.
Yep.
I think, yeah, it's now we're doing this. All right, now we got...
Sometimes if someone has a stomach bug, you know.
Yeah, but I don't think we use that one.
Bowl.
We use the stainless steel ones for that. All right, now I'm getting just a pinch.
1 cup of flour.
I'm going to do a pinch of salt. And the purpose of salt is not just to taste good, but salt slows down the fermentation process.
Really?
Because to have it be unleavened, you don't want it to have the water in it for too long, because then the yeast will start to grow, because yeast is naturally occurring in all flour. That's what sourdough bread is for.
It's a wealth of information.
I had a period.
It says how much flour? 1 cup.
We just did 1 cup. You can
do more.
It's all bread is a ratio. So we're doing. I'm such a bread nerd. Oh my gosh.
I'm just impressed by his bread knowledge.
I was deep into bread when Andrew was a baby. I mean,
That's true. There was a point in our home when things got so stressful. We had a toddler, we had a baby, work was kind of hard at that time. So Dave started making bread as like good stress relief, except there were like 15 loaves of bread.
Yeah, because when you do like a bunch of sourdough, you have to make a lot. So we're going to put 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Sorry.
Lucia Canusa said, I think I gave you that punch bowl.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Lucia.
That's amazing.
We love it.
Oh, we do. And we're using it today. So how much oil is that?
I just said 2 tablespoons. You're going to do 2.5 to 3,
okay,
depending on whether someone bumps you while you're pouring it out.
It actually says 2 to 3 tablespoons of water too, but you're just doing oil.
Well, it says you mix the flour, oil, and salt together first.
Did we mix it?
I'm
the
gonna
oil.
Mix it now.
Okay.
And
so
then,
1 cup of flour.
And then we need
2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil.
Mix this all together.
The biggest spoon you have.
So
and then you mix it together.
I think the closest thing to this would be like a cracker or a...
it's like a...
Yeah, a
Like
cracker
a paste?
Or a tortilla.
Okay.
And so,
like a pita bread maybe?
Well,
or is that too soft?
Pita is also too yeasty. That's why it gets that separation in the middle.
The more you know.
You didn't know I knew so much about bread.
So did you know all this going in, or did you like pre-research?
Sadly, I knew all this going in. Like, I got so deep into bread 15 years ago that
okay,
I will always be somewhat of an expert about bread.
Okay.
So I think it's kind of mealy. It's kind of like, you know, when you mix make pie crust, you know, and you put the...
Just like in Jewish time.
When we make pie, you mix the
in case you missed the beginning, we both washed our hands for a full doxology. So if you're like,
I'm going to take off my wedding band to not get flour in there.
I'll take mine off too, because apparently quarantine. What's going on here?
I just don't like when I get flour underneath there.
I don't know.
So I'm gonna mix it up.
Yep.
You want to get in there and mix that?
Yeah.
Up a little bit.
Ooh, okay. So it feels kind of lumpy.
Yeah, little yeah, lumpy. It's like when
we really are professionals.
It's like when you mix the butter into flour.
Yeah, when it says like cut the butter into the flour. Ooh, they said, do we drink wine now? That's an excellent question.
We'll talk about that once we start the stuff
there.
baking. All right. So now we're ready for water.
Now what do we do?
And so we're gonna do 1 tablespoon at a time.
Okay.
And we're just going to mix it in. Let's just mix it in with our hands.
Okay.
Go ahead and mix, Meg.
Okay, so Dave just added 1 tablespoon of water. So we had a cup of flour, a pinch of salt, 3 tablespoons of olive oil, or a little shy of that. And now we're mixing in a tablespoon of water. Okay, that's not dough.
All right, so I'm going to do another tablespoon.
Okay.
This is water. This is specially blessed water.
Okay, it still is not dough.
Okay, so you just mix it in until it'll
Dave,
form.
it's not dough.
Don't lose hope, Megan. It'll be okay. I'm going for a third tablespoon.
I think it's that quinoa you put in here.
I didn't put the quinoa in yet.
Oh.
It didn't work out. Okay, now it's starting to form together.
It's beginning to feel more like a dough. So don't lose hope on the first tablespoon of water.
Okay.
Because we're getting there.
What do you think? Is it getting it? Let's put one more.
Maybe a little bit more water because there's still a lot of flour.
A full tablespoon there.
If you have one of those fancy mixers, you could use that.
Yeah, but you want to be historically accurate.
That's right.
You know?
Ooh, look. Okay, it's starting to make a dough, guys.
Nice.
Look at that.
All right. Well, get all the rest in there.
Yep.
All right. And now once it's formed together, we're going to put a little flour. Here, let's move the bowl.
Okay, I'm still mixing.
Oh, okay. Let me know.
Just slow down. We have nowhere to go.
I got a busy schedule. You need more water?
And then as you're mixing tonight, we do need a little more water because see, we still have some grain.
We don't want to waste that little bit of flour. All right, there we go.
Okay, that was like a drip, but it's fine. We'll make it.
We're running out of water.
It's not really a dough yet.
Okay. How about that?
So if you really have a long time, you can add the water drip by drip.
I prefer to use a dropper, like a
Okay, here, you can get in there and see what you think.
Yeah, it's feeling pretty good. Because you don't, with crackers, because it's basically what you're making as a cracker. Man, I know so much about bread. This is so embarrassing to be realizing this while we're talking to our church live. You want crackers to be dry. You don't want it to be like a really high ratio.
So you don't want a wet dough?
You don't want a wet dough.
Okay.
You want a dry dough.
So do you want me to move the bowl?
Yeah, let's move the dough. Okay. And the next thing is we're going to make this into some smaller balls. And so we're going to put a little flour on the counter, and you take some flour and you put it on the person you're making. I meant to do a little bit and have it be cute.
It was a lot. It was like that much.
Oh my gosh. I really meant for that to be a cute amount of flour. I'm so sorry, babe. But now we have flour on us. And are you okay? Did it get...
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Okay. Awesome. Well, that's what you want to do, is to make... Thank you. All right, so I just...
Okay, it's in my nose. I'll be right back.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so from doing 1 cup of flour, it's about this big. So I think let's do this into 3 small portions. And I officially apologize for dousing your favorite pastor with a large amount of flour on her face. I thought it would be cute. Was it cute at all?
It was. Now it's like in my nose.
Now it's glue, because that's the other thing you can make with flour and water is glue. Okay, so can we see?
It's fine.
All right, you see these little things? So now we're gonna.
said, don't touch your face. That's true.
Well, she just washed her hands, though.
I did wash them for a full doxology.
Yeah. All right, so now we got these little dough balls. So we got, this one's a little dry, but I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, I think we should add more water.
Like that? All right, now you're going to press it into discs.
Okay. We're pressing.
And with all dough, if you press and it starts to tear, you just let it rest for a little bit. Oh man, that's looking pretty good.
Okay, mine's very crackery.
Well, it's supposed to be crackery. That's good. And
could you use like a cookie cutter, cut them into shapes?
Sure. Yeah,
whatever
Christmas
you have on
tree.
hand.
I wouldn't do a Christmas tree. I would stay, if you have like a dreidel or a Star of David. I think let's not co-opt Passover too much.
That's a good call. That's a good call.
I guess you could also use a rolling pin. So that's not quite thin enough. I am gonna get that rolling pin. Do we have?
We have a rolling pin.
Rolling pin.
I think it's in here. Hold on.
There it is.
Here it is.
Oh, I probably.
Okay.
All right, Megan now has a rolling pin, and I just threw flour in her face. So let's see how
I'm
this
feeling
works
better
out.
about the situation.
Roll it out.
I still can't smell anything because my nose is full of flour.
You can't smell anything?
No,
That's a
I
bad
know.
sign.
Also a sign of COVID. It's fine. But right now it's just flour. Okay. How thin are you wanting to roll this
you want
out?
to go as thin as possible.
Okay.
And I guess if it was slightly wetter dough, then that would have made it. Oh, you know what? And this one, when you let it rest, it does
Like how thin mine
soften a little bit. That is perfect. Do you want to do that one in the skillet? Or?
Whoa. Okay, so what do we do? Do we put oil in the skillet?
No, because what you want to dry. If that would be like a fry bread, you could do that.
Okay, so I just put it in the skillet, just
Yeah,
like
so let's
this.
watch.
So you can also cook this in the oven. Remember we talked about that?
Yeah, we're gonna do a couple in the oven as well.
Should I put this one in the oven because that takes longer?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I'm gonna go put mine in the oven. Oh, okay.
Let's do 2 in the oven. Hold on. I'll just do 1 on the
I'm
thing.
gonna go put mine in the oven, and then we'll do those in the skillet.
Okay.
How long do they go in the oven?
Let's see. Oh, you're supposed to take a fork and prick holes in the dough.
Okay, I'm going back.
It says it cooks in the oven for 8 to 15 minutes.
Okay, we're gonna go for 8.
8 minutes in
Hang
the
in
oven.
there.
All right. Oh, I'm getting this real nice and thin. Look at that. I think. All right, is that coming through? Yeah, you can see that. All right, so I got this nice and thin.
I'm back.
And let me get a fork to press the holes in it.
I'll start rolling out our other unleavened bread.
All right.
There we go.
So I'm gonna prick it. Thank you. There we go.
So is it, you want it to be as thin as it can be?
Yeah, it's like a cracker.
Okay.
Okay. There we go. It's not pretty, but let's see. All right. Maybe scoot over so you can see the.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna keep rolling out this one while he starts that one.
Oh. Sizzling.
This is
Turn it up a
some
little
gentle entertainment right here.
I mean, this is much more exciting than my live stream of the dog sleeping for an hour.
Hey, that is some good.
Although, if you all missed that, if you have to be friends with me personally on Facebook, and I'd love to be friends with anybody. Last night we live streamed the dog sleeping for an hour, and
Well, we didn't.
I did, but as a part of it, my friend from elementary school, middle school, high school, who was a professor of film, jumped on and answered my question that it was art.
Really?
And compared it to Andy Warhol. So Andy Warhol did the same thing. So I'm basically, she said it was better too. So I'm basically Andy Warhol.
It smells a little like burning, but
Yeah,
it's gonna be
yeah.
fine.
Okay, so while this is cooking.
Okay, why don't you talk about, so why unleavened bread? Why don't you talk about that?
Okay, so you can read the story in
I'm gonna keep
Exodus.
rolling.
Oh, it's starting to bubble up.
I don't know if you got, here, tilt that, be careful, it's hot. Tilt it there.
Can you see the bubbling?
See, it's starting to bubble up, it's getting a little puffy.
I don't know if you can see it from there. Let me bring it over. But so for a Bible study, you could read on Exodus 12, the story of the Passover, and okay, hold on, let's see. Oh, maybe I'll bring it over. Yeah, I'll show the bubble.
Don't burn yourself.
So you see the bubble? See how it's bubbled? See the bubbles? Yeah, you can see the
Bubble
bubbles.
up.
Nice.
It's pretty cool, right?
You can do a Bible study. Read Exodus 12 tonight, or now, and.
And what does it talk about in there?
About their Passover, and
That's right.
because after the Passover happened, the people of Israel had to get out of town with a quickness, and so God instructed them to make bread, but not let it rise. Because you have to get out quick, and so make this unleavened bread and take it with you, and that's why they celebrate Passover today, and why we celebrate why we have unleavened bread for Maundy Thursday, because Jesus was celebrating Passover. In that upper room.
So tonight we'll be having our Monday while we're waiting this to cook. We'll be having our is that an iron skillet? Yeah, it's our cast iron skillet. It's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
We've had that several years.
Yeah.
Hold on, our dog's eating trash.
I'm gonna flip it. Ready?
Okay, he's gonna flip it.
Ooh! Look at this.
It's
Look
brown.
at how good that looks.
It's brown.
I think that looks pretty good. Barbara Miller's watching. Happy birthday, Barb! Happy
Happy birthday! It's Barbara Miller's birthday, and she's watching, and we made you this.
Unleavened bread. So today's Monday, Thursday, and tonight we remember, among other things, the Last Supper when Jesus ate with his disciples, and he served them bread and then the cup, which traditionally has been wine, but juice is also just fine. And tonight we'll be doing that together. So if you want to do that tonight with us at 7, we'd love to have you. A little more serious
We'll move over to our dining room table, and yes. If you can do the same, that would be great.
And we'll have our unleavened bread. You can use any bread that you might have at home, and you can use juice. We have a couple bottles of wine that we're going to pick from.
We need your help, though.
Yeah. So
one is called Prophecy, and the other is called 7 Deadly Sins. Which should we have tonight?
Prophecy or 7 Deadly Sins.
So the prophecies came that Jesus would come because of all the 7 deadly sins.
Wow. Both? I don't know. So we're going to pick one of those for our Monday, Thursday tonight. You could also certainly do juice. That would work too.
Yes.
How is our skillet bread going?
I think it's coming. I might have to use a spatula.
So if you just joined us, we're going to post the recipe, but it's a cup of flour, about 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 to 3 tablespoons of water.
And a pinch of salt.
Pinch of salt. You're going to mix it up, and then we rolled ours out nice and thin, so it looks like this. And then we have one cooking in the oven at 450 for 8 minutes, and one cooking on the skillet.
I'm liking this
until it smells like burning. So you know it's done.
You can't smell the burning. But okay, I'm going to pull this off.
It's done.
You want to put that next one in the skillet? Do you want to Ooh, look how good this looks.
Okay, go try one. I'll check the oven.
All right, so here's what my first one came out looking like. It kind of looks pretty good.
You should taste it.
Okay, let's. Oh.
Wait. You have to break it.
Hey, thank you. I know.
Seminary.
Oh, if we're frozen on YouTube, I'm sorry, YouTube.
That's all right.
So let's listen. Nice little crack there.
Little crackle.
Little crackle.
Okay. So if you're making it along with us, you can go ahead and try it.
You know what it tastes like?
What?
It tastes like flour with water in it.
It's crackery.
Yeah, well, it tastes like. I mean, if you put some more salt on it, it would taste like.
Oh, that one's smelling like burning. So that means it's time to flip it. That's how you know, as a chef. I'm gonna go.
What did you talk about?
You did Monday, Thursday.
Monday, Thursday.
Unleavened bread.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm gonna go check on our bread in the oven.
All right, this one's bubbling up. I kind of like it. Yeah, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna dip it in some olive oil.
Okay, so this one is just about done out of the oven.
That probably
Go
needs
and
to be
take it out. And why don't you work on yours?
My better one. with my pretty little.
See
spots
how pretty
on
it looks? I think you actually don't need to flip it because it's an oven.
Okay.
And the directions don't say that.
All right, so I've got some olive oil here.
So if you cook it,
I'm gonna put a little bit of salt in the olive
ovens
oil.
are hot.
And maybe this will make it better.
Ow. Says it sounds and looks like matzo. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
it does. It does. Okay, so if you cook it in the oven, it's a little more, has a little bit more of like a crumble to it.
Ooh, this one got burned. I like it. Look at the smoke.
That one's on fire.
I did not put that one fast enough. I'm going to turn this off.
Don't they have honey for it? Ooh, that's a good idea. You could put some honey on it.
This would be good with honey. This would be good with jam, Nutella.
Like
but I'm
the
doing
Lord.
A little olive oil. But yes, so tonight, don't eat it all at once.
Okay, you should try the oven version. That's better.
Yeah, oven's better.